You're listening to Dr. Emma and me on the Tudors Dynasty and Beyond podcast. And now, here are your hosts.
Hello and welcome back to Tudors Dynasty and Beyond. And it's Thursday, so that means it's another episode with my historical bestie, Dr. Emma. Hi, Emma.
Hello. I love Thursdays. Used to be my favorite day when I was in college. Because we didn't have class on Friday usually.
Oh, so it's Thirsty Thursday.
It was Thirsty Thursday, yes. Thanks for bringing that up. College culture, Thirsty Thursday.
Yes, yeah.
Now it's Podcast Thursday.
That's right.
Life changes.
Yep. Well, you know, Thursdays are...
I'm feeling slightly thirsty, though. Let me
Oh, my gosh.
Water. That's what I drink. Water.
It's really a margarita on ice that she's drinking right now.
Don't give it away.
Sorry. Give away all the secrets. Well, it's the beginning of the show, so we always kind of recap the last episode. We do a little bit of listener feedback and then talk about whatever we want to talk about, because that's what we do, right? So the last episode we did, I'm going to try this again, was on Isabel Clara Eugenia.
Wow,
Yeah.
that was really good, Rebecca.
I'm trying. Thank you. And Anna of Denmark. And that episode went over really well again. And we got some great feedback, a lot of suggestions again, because I think we talked about Thomas Seymour a little bit. And
we got kind of saucy talking about Anna of Denmark's things in her palace, her nude ladies, her hunting lodge and things like that. And Rebecca was talking about her crush, historical crush.
Stop calling him that.
I need to stop talking now because I'm getting into trouble, guys.
Anyway, we talked about Anna of Denmark's historical porn.
Yes.
If you missed that
with
episode.
Ladies. So yes. I want to point that out because we mentioned, I don't know if I made this clear, but she was in her picture that was hung next to this Rubens painting with naked lady nymphs and satires and all that. She had a portrait of herself painted where she looks like a huntress that is in charge. So that's all I'm going to say.
Okay. Moving on.
I hope Gemma Field doesn't kill me when she sees me walking here and be like, hi.
Oh, by the guess what? Gemma is in the waiting room right now, and we're going to bring her in to discuss this.
Okay, that's great.
Just kidding. Well,
I'm sure she'll be thrilled to know. And I can't wait to get to Yale and be able to talk to her about all these things.
Yes. But one of the things we talked about when we talk about Thomas Seymour, who is not my historical crush, I'm just fascinated with his life, was who would we pair him up? And I was really having a difficult time coming up with somebody because it's just, I don't know if I'm just too close to his story that I can't think outside the box who would be good. But I think a lot of people mentioned Robert Dudley.
Okay. Yeah.
Who for obvious reasons because of Elizabeth. And I thought, that's a pretty good one for a parallel lives. So we might have to consider that one for the future. I thought
would you ever pair him with the king? The two?
Oh, I don't know. I really think I have to spend a whole day thinking about this to see how many parallels.
So you spend the day thinking about the man that lived 500 years ago. Okay, Rebecca.
I'm such a loser. This is what we do.
I think about the ladies more.
I think about men all the time.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Anyway, moving forward.
Okay, so I do want to talk about some of the comments that we received after the last episode. And our friend Maximilian is back to comments. Oh. And in the last episode, you had made some mention about Anne Boleyn and Henry VIII and how Henry VIII had to ditch all of his friends or whatever. And you remember? Mm-hmm. Okay. And Maximilian said, wow, Dr. Emma, that line about Henry needing a new set of friends after Anne, never thought of it before. So true, actually, when you think about it.
Maximilian is right. It's not a fake name I'm using to, to give myself some credit. But what I was trying to convey with that is toxic relationships make everyone involved toxic in the end, right? Even the victims sometimes, because it's the way it is, right? And I think I've talked about this before, and we talked about this before, because Anne Boleyn wasn't raised to be a queen, wasn't raised in that world, she sometimes couldn't handle the pressure. and that went in her detriment. Remember, we also talk about how important court etiquette really is. So the slightest breach, the slightest comment, the slightest, especially for a woman, of that station, a queen, it's just not acceptable. And I think Maximilian is right that we do need to think in those terms too, because she wasn't doing any favor to Henry by having a fight with Fun Guy, for example, or by saying that Mary should do this, or Mary should do that, or Mary should hold my train, or she should serve my. Maybe she should have laid a bit lower with that and just enjoyed her moment. But Henry didn't allow her to do that because he was pressing and pressing and pressing, and everybody was pressing her. So, but I do think we need to think more in those terms too. Not that I'm defending Henry,
the tool. We don't want to defend him today.
No, not today.
Looking at some more comments, I just feel like YouTube is just littered with so many comments on there. But I sometimes I like to look for the ones because, when you're a podcaster, a lot of it is so solo and it's such an individual type thing that when you get positive feedback, it kind of fuels you and makes you feel good. So Dwayne said, man, y'all are busy. A new video every couple of days. And I was like, yeah, that's right. We are busy.
Rebecca's one of the busiest people I know, and I know a lot of busy people. I'm going to include myself in busy people.
Yeah, you are.
But you know what? That's what passion does, right?
Yes, it
just
does.
fuels you. And coffee.
And coffee.
Several, she drinks a Mountain Dew or two. But she is one of the busiest people I know, hardworking. Very Minnesotan trait too, these people, hard workers.
I'm a farm kid.
Get used to it when you live here. You're like, oh, it used to be fun.
It used to be fun. Never used to be fun. All I know is work.
Hard work and labor.
I'm just kidding. I know how to have fun.
Yes, you do.
What else do we have for feedback here? There's the
Thomas. You just reading the comments that praise you, Rebecca? Or
I think so.
Good. Find a couple more, please.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, Pamela recommended doing an episode on Holbein and Hilliard.
I love it. I'm going to write it down right now.
Yeah.
And I think that ties very well with that, my favorite word, genealogy.
Ooh. Yes, good. You got it.
The genealogy of artists. And Hilliard talks about the genealogy in his very famous book, The Art of Limning. But he also talks about Elizabeth I and how she had an opinion about art and how she thought the Italian artists were the best and they used the shutter for this. And so these people are very involved. And Holbein, Hilliard does set the standard for the Elizabethan period in terms of her iconic image. He was the one to create Elizabeth's iconic image the same way that Holbein was the one to create Henry VIII's iconic image.
Yeah.
So in that sense, they're parallel. Yeah.
I don't know that I ever told you this, but when Melanie Taylor was on the show, we nicknamed Hilliard Hottie Hilliard.
He is kind of hottie. I think, yeah. But those are self-portraits too.
I know. So he's like painting a portrait of himself. He's like, man, am I hot? Yeah. Look how hot I am.
I'm going to give myself a nose job. Well, and we talked about this in other occasions with Titian giving Charles V that very nice beard to hide away his very, very big chin, and how and an artist that I'm studying, like Susanna Horenboot, very, very linked to Hilliard, very linked to Holbein because she works in the Tudor court too. In those miniatures that I'm trying to identify that are hers, women have a more tender way to portray people. Charles V looks sweeter in his little miniature, probably by Susanna, not Lucas, in the Victoria Albert Museum that was in the Sixth exhibition last year.
Yeah.
He looks almost like, it's like, oh, he's and she used that picture that we've talked about time and again, where he's got his big chin. So you've got this one downloaded, don't worry.
Oh, I do.
We talked about it with many episodes of this pictures because it's important because we have documented that it was there in 1514 when Mary Rose Tudor was holding it, and the Flemish ambassador was saying that's not very good. Well, it's not that it's not very good. I had this debate with Alejandro if it was good or not. What he told me is that it's done in a way that it looks very realistic. It's probably the most accurate of the portraits of Charles V in many ways and respects, because that's people describe him not being able to close his mouth. And when you see him and you go to the Prado Museum, soon enough, Rebecca, and you see him in Mühlberg, you'd never just concentrate on his chin, right?
Right.
But Susanna copies that picture where his chin is very big and manages to still like portray the chin, not too still there, but just the way his face looks tender and cute and nice is a very nice thing to think about, because that was sent to Mary when they were betrothed, when he was already an emperor and she was, a little girl, really. And there's a matching miniature portrait of her in the National Portrait Gallery wearing that little jewel that says the emperor. So
That's
these
right.
are matching effigies for their marriage.
It's
very linked to portrait medals and all this format. The Hilliard is so famous for. It's just very important in the Tudor court because of Catherine of Aragon, who brought the Horan boots.
Yeah. Do we know if Charles V really had a beard, or was that just the makeup to cover his chin?
He did grow a beard. He was told to grow a beard to hide his chin.
Oh, he was.
He was. Yes. I don't know. I don't want to say any names because I'll say one, I'll make a mistake, and the hounds will be after me. But somebody one of his advisors suggested that, or maybe even probably his sister, because that's what sisters do, right?
Right.
Grow a beard. But yeah, he was advised to grow a beard, also because this is not just, he was getting older as a man also goes through his, process. Henry grew a beard, Francis grew a beard. It was also tied to these men sometimes identify with figures from the past. And one of the figures that is very important in Spanish culture at the time is Marcus Aurelius, the emperor, the Roman emperor. And he was known to have one of the best beards in antiquity.
Oh.
Now you're interested, right?
I was like, now we're going to have to Google and look at it, because I like
Aurelius.
I like
it
beards
already, guys. She wrote down a little note.
Good thing I have my fan going over here. I'm going to get a little warm in this episode.
Yeah, and he rides a horse too, so be ready. And we've talked about this. Marcus Aurelius, he was a hottie, from antiquity, but also he was the father of Stoicism, which is something very prominent in the humanist culture in Spain, with Catherine of Aragon, Juan Luis Vives, Charles V. So Charles V is identified with Hercules, remember Hercules, the statue of Hercules?
I do.
So these men, parallel lives is alive. In the 60s, these men, when they portray themselves as Hercules, as this, as Mars, as whatever, what they're saying is, I have the same virtues. So Charles V ends up, instead of looking like a younger king, ends up looking like Marcus Aurelius, because that Mühlberg portrait is a portrait on a horse.
Yes.
Very impressive portrait.
It is quite a portrait. It is.
It's incredible. And every time you see it, it's like it's supposed to be dawn, but it looks like a dream. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And also in the Central Gallery in the Prado, they have brought the statues, because one of the most important things we have to remember about the Prado Museum is it's not only paintings they have portrait medals, they have sculptures, they have all types of artworks. So there's artworks, very good artworks of the Habsburgs done in sculpture of Mary of Hungary that we've talked about, of Charles. I'm talking about the Prado again.
I've never heard of that place. Where is that?
No, where is that? In the coolest country in the world, Spain. Yes.
Well,
one of the coolest. We don't, let's not do absolutes, because it's not a competition. Because if it was a competition, guys, I'm sorry,
Spain would win, Emma says.
I mean, the food competition, we've won it a long time ago. The museum competition, we've got the Prado. Of course, we win it.
Yeah.
There's other things, but you guys know how to make burgers. That's great. I love burgers. I went for a burger last night that was very good.
That's right, you did. I love burgers too.
Me too.
It's such an American thing, isn't it?
And not just because burgers, right? I love other things. Corn. You've never tasted corn until you come to America.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. I've never heard that
Corn on
before.
the cob. right?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh, so
Summer.
cheap too. I'm always surprised. It's like, take all this corn for $1. Okay.
Right. And it's like such a staple of our summer eats, right? You
Yeah.
go out, you grill, and you have burgers and brats and corn on the
Yeah.
cob and baked
Yeah.
beans and
Yep.
yeah, all the
Yeah.
good stuff.
All the good stuff. Throw
Well,
some
now
bacon in
I'm
there.
so hungry now. We have to stop talking about food. Let's
Well, not just American food, also Mexican food. Corn
Mm.
is just very American, you know?
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we need to talk about today's episode because I'm really
I'm
excited.
not going to talk about America. No need.
No need. Let's talk about the past. That's where
Yes,
we
let's
like
talk
to
about
live. Because I like today's episode, and Emma actually picked this one, and I was so excited when she picked these two women because I love medieval stuff and I love women in history. And today we're going to be talking about Margaret of York and Mary of Burgundy. Okay, can we let that sit just for a second because those are two pretty amazing women that I feel like we haven't really talked about much.
No, we haven't. And I keep thinking, why haven't we talked? Like, imagine what happened with Margaret Roper. And I was like, why haven't we? It's just so many things to talk about. And
Yes.
women become so prominent in this time.
Yeah.
And these are really at the beginning of these women becoming prominent too. In
Yeah.
the 15th centuries was this movement starts. And these two women are contemporaries of Isabel of Castile. And the reason why I wanted to bring these up is because, I have an exhibition coming up. This is my second plug of the day in the British Museum. It's opening this Thursday, Rebecca.
I know. I'm so excited for you. Are you
Well,
nervous?
not this Thursday, sorry, because this is going to air some other time.
Yeah.
This
Well, I can't even keep track of the days anymore. Next week.
Yeah.
This will air next Thursday.
When
The
this
14th.
airs,
No, don't know.
when this airs, the exhibition will be running. So
Yes, this will air on the 17th.
exactly.
Okay.
So when this airs, the exhibition will have been running for a week. It runs until October, so you guys have the rest of the summer to go and visit it.
Yeah.
Okay. It's very important that you do. And then it's very important that you let anyone in there know that you came because Dr. Emma is the best curator in the world.
Yes.
Okay, everybody's got it? Write it down. Make sure you don't forget that. But I'm going to tell you guys where it's going to be. It's going to be in the Money Gallery in the British Museum in room 68. And there's a central case called Case 10. And there will be 13 portrait medals. So we can talk a little bit about what portrait medals are and why they're relevant, right? And a coin. And Mary of Burgundy is what I've called the matriarch. Do you remember when we talked about the marketing mothers?
Of course.
These are the marketing matriarchs. And the coin is of Isabel and Fernando. So the coin and the medal of Mary of Burgundy will be the two first pieces of this exhibition. That's why I wanted to talk about her, because she's the matriarch of the Habsburgs.
Yeah,
She ties everything together because she brings Burgundy into the Habsburg rule. And she's an heiress in her own right. She's a duchess in her own right. And she has a powerful image, too. Yeah. And she's Crybaby's mom.
I love it. You know what? I have an appreciation for Margaret of York because my first love was Wars of the Roses. And I hope you don't mind. I don't want to steal your thunder, but Margaret of York was the sister of Edward IV and Richard III. Her parents were Richard, Duke of York, and Cecily Neville. I mean,
incredible time.
It really was an incredible time. And
she was fierce too. Margaret of York was fierce. And why I chose to pair, because you said you enjoyed a little Englishness there. Makes sense. We're on Tudors.
Yeah.
There's pre-Tudors, but we'll talk about how Margaret might have been an influence, a Tudor influence before the Tudors, right?
Yes.
Bear with me on that. But the reason why I chose Margaret of York, who is amazing too, is because she became Duchess of Burgundy.
Yes.
Right? Not in her own right, but by marriage.
Yeah.
So you could become a duchess in many ways. Well, not in many ways, but these two ways, basically, inherited or marriage. But Margaret then goes to Burgundy and establishes a very close connection to the English court, exchanges a lot of things. In this time is not a lot of painted portraits, more manuscripts, eliminated manuscripts, high level. You know, the 15th century manuscripts are out of this world. So Margaret does a lot of that. And some of the first printed books that arrived to England are sent by her.
Oh, wow.
So see how she's a marketing matriarch?
Yes. Huh.
Yes.
Interesting.
And she was meddling in a lot of the English stuff and making sure Henry VII got lots of headaches.
Yeah, because she was the aunt of the princes in the tower.
Exactly. And then she supports Perkin Warbeck and writes even to Isabel of Castile. Isabel of Castile says, I don't know what you guys are up to, but this is way too, this is your business. I don't know about this guy.
She's like, there's a lot of drama going on here.
These Yorks and Lancasters and now these Tudors seem very dramatic. I'm over here, you know, ruling Castile in my own rights with Fernando. I've got my own stuff. So when you guys figure that out, so Margaret was truly impactful in England, even though she was not far away, but yes, not in the court. And she was. And Henry VII had a lot of trouble with her too, you know. Mary of Burgundy died very, very young, but her crybaby son did do a lot of damage too. So, you know, parallel lives.
I love how they all come together. I really have been enjoying that about this series because it really just shows you how everything is connected one way or another.
Right. You just thought I was just picking random people.
I was like, here's whatever random thought.
No, I guess I'm obsessed with the same people because, and this is something that anyone, now I can say that who has curated an exhibition, oh my God, I'm so full of myself right now, can say you do become obsessed with these pieces and these stories that you want to tell. First of all, the labels are very short, so you have to convey messages in very short space. But also you have to make sure that it's telling a story, right? It's telling a story so people realize and appreciate this heritage. And one of the things I wanted to convey with this exhibition was how, even though we tend to isolate the Tudors from the continent, in the sense of the famous women of the Tudor dynasty, Mary and Elizabeth, when they become queens, they have to draw for the kind of iconography, the symbology from the women, usually the men, but also the women. And who are the women who have done this? The marketing matriarchs, Mary of the First of England's grandmother, Isabel of Castile, but also Mary of Burgundy, because Mary ends up being cousins with all the Habsburg women, right?
Yes.
The Habsburg women, we've talked about Mary of Hungary, will have two medals there, one with the Battle of Mohacs. Remember, we said her husband died in the Battle of Mohacs, and that's when Mary becomes very powerful. It's a way to show that women use these medals to convey messages to other European leaders when something has happened in their life that has made them prominent. In the case of Mary of Burgundy, the medal is portraying her when she becomes empress. She's not only Duchess of Burgundy, she becomes Holy Roman Empress.
Wow.
She marries Maximilian, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Who in the medal is also portrayed, because this medal in this case, Mary is portrayed with her husband, and they're both crowned. So that's how, you know, and it has its gilt, so it means that this is a high value piece. A portrait medal is different to a coin because it doesn't have a market value. So these were made usually to give to powerful allies and to show them that they were a power couple. Because Mary was bringing power into the empire, bringing Burgundy. And then her son and her daughter, Margaret of Austria, who we've also talked about, use that legacy. That's where the artists are. That's how Flanders and Burgundy become attached to Spain too, through Crybaby and Juana still. And then at the end, with Isabel Clara Eugenia going back to be a ruler, married to her cousin, the Archduke Albert. So it's a one big mess of 2 centuries of people doing the same thing over and over.
It's so easy to get confused with all the Marys and Margarets. And I love that we have nicknames for a lot of the men, but I feel like we need to have good nicknames for the women so that they're easier to distinguish between them.
True, it's true. Well, we could, because we are more familiar with them, and as we are more familiar with them, we can talk about them by the titles at the time. They change, but they
Yeah.
change in the men. He can be Prince of Wales or then King of England. So, Mary of Burgundy, in her case, she becomes by birthright Duchess of Burgundy, but by marriage Holy Roman Empress, and that's how she becomes a matriarch of the Habsburgs through
Yes.
marriage. In the
Yes.
case of Margaret of York, she's a York, so from the houses that are in dispute. Um, and that's why she has a confrontational situation with Henry VII, because he's a Lancaster. Well, he's somewhat of a Lancaster.
Yeah,
Come on.
yeah. He's on the fringes of Lancaster.
I mean,
No,
he was.
no. We're
That's
gonna get a
something we
hate
should
mail.
talk about. We need to do parallel lives with Henry VII. Maybe Henry VII and Fernando of Aragon would be interesting to do.
Oh, that might be an interesting one.
Yeah.
That's a good
I was going
point.
to say something. It's not for the podcast.
It's probably we're already gonna get hate mail if we talk any smack about Henry VII. People are already typing their emails right now to us.
Or maybe another good one would be Maximilian and Henry VIII, because Maximilian, and we've talked about this, is a very good book by Larry Silver. Maximilian is the marketing guru too. Let's
Hmm.
not forget that the men are too. And Henry appropriates really Holbein and all that revolution that really Catherine enables, and also becomes a marketing guru because he markets himself very well, right? Because we
Yeah.
have, yeah, he becomes an icon. So Maximilian, what I'm saying is Henry VIII knew about Maximilian and Mary and admired all this background. So even his own daughter Mary had more prestige than him because she descended from Isabel of Castile and had Habsburg cousins that descended from these guys. So I think that also was a problem for Henry, in case of with Mary. In the case of Elizabeth of York, I think her confrontation with Henry VII is because it's the same thing. You're not really legitimate. And I think
Yeah.
that was a problem for the Tudor men.
Well, one of the things that really fascinated me about these two women that you paired up for today's episode is that Margaret of York was actually the stepmother of Mary of Burgundy.
Yes, and also the amount of parallels that I found researching these two women in terms of their character, the way they carried themselves, and their image they portrayed are huge. And they were aimed for the blame. So in this exhibition in the British Museum, you will be able to see this gilt medal of Mary, but they have many others. She has very revealing clothes, by the way. That's not the one I chose for the exhibition. In hindsight, maybe I should have. It would have brought more people. But what I'm saying is that's the amazing thing that they have
Yeah.
in that collection. They have portrait medals of all these women, but also Margaret of York, and she has a very amazing attire. She's full of jewels. She has very cool medals. You can see her hair. She did styles in her hair. So these
Yeah.
women were very, very fashionable. I think the late Gothic style is one of my favorites in fashion. It's so over the top and so full of bling and all types of gems in this. And who has the coolest coronet in the history of England?
Right. Everybody will recognize this because this image has been floated around social media over the years. I mean, look at that. Could you imagine? Like, first of all, that thing must have been heavy.
How does it look,
If you're
guys?
not watching, you really need to watch these episodes because Emma's
Yeah.
trying to wear it, but it's on a book.
It's a coronet of Margaret of York that I'm trying to wear, but it's really one of the best. Look at this catalog, guys. This is my obsession. Okay.
You've used it a few times, I think.
Oh, yes. You look at bearded men, I look at jewels and architecture. And this catalog is from the V&A. So it featured Victoria Albert Museum in London, and it features this coronet. I can't even tell you guys how. I mean, we will share a picture to the
Yeah.
amount of gems. And it is really one of like an iconic style for a crown, of medieval crown, right?
Yeah.
It's just and that, and like I said, what is interesting, I think, about Mary of Burgundy and Margaret of York, they're both in the cusp of the modern world because Margaret of York has this coronet that looks very medieval, but then, like I said, has some of the first printed books sent to England. She's in a place where printers are starting, and she's creating an image for herself that is very modern, as we call modern, because of this expansion of the printing press and the Renaissance. And she is in Burgundy, where all these artists, illuminators that we talked about many other times, just art is very, very good. Culture is very advanced there. So she sends a lot of these things to England. That's where I want to, put a point that these women are cultural ambassadors, and the innovation of art and culture, they're in the forefront.
Yeah.
And Margaret of York is a very good example of that.
And something to keep in mind too, obviously the Renaissance started in Europe before it came to England. So these women both would have experienced some of the changes from the Renaissance, right?
Yes, yes. So one could argue that England is in Europe, but
here we go.
That's kind of the point of the exhibition a bit too, in a way, I'm afraid. And with saying this, yes, the Renaissance starts in, let's just briefly summarize, because I think this is very important. The Renaissance starts in Italy, and it starts to expand in many places. And one of the first places it starts to expand is in the Iberian Peninsula. So not just Spain, but Portugal too, right?
Yeah.
But also in Burgundy, in this place, in Flanders, we've talked about it, the Renaissance. It's another center of artistic production. This is very close to England, much closer than Italy is. So a lot of the Renaissance is spread via Flanders through, at the beginning of the printing press, things like prints. Jura is very important in the spread of the Renaissance in the north of Europe. So, for example, when we were talking to Alejandro, he is a curator of the Flemish department and the northern schools at the Prado Museum, because what that means is there's a whole school in the north of Europe that is interpreting that Renaissance. But we have to realize something. The patrons are also very important. And in the case of Catherine of Aragon, her Flemish style comes from the Spanish court. So it's very complex. For the longest time, it was very linear. Okay, so the Renaissance started in Italy, and then it came to England, so it just came from Italy. No,
right.
It goes through many places, many avenues, many historical agents contribute to the spread. But then there's times with, like, for example, during the reign of Henry VIII and Catherine of Aragon, especially at the beginning, that there's a boom. There's a boom because, first of all, they inherit a lot of money. They're very young, and they want to party and have the best court they can have, because that's the way to gain power too, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, I guess. That's all I'm saying for now. That just makes sense to me.
Yeah. Well, I guess, we're comparing these two women. Can we talk about, I said Margaret of York was the stepmother of Mary of Burgundy, but I don't think we even really covered who Mary of Burgundy's father was and who her mom was.
So her father's very famous, Charles the Bald, and he's a Duke of Burgundy. The Dukes of Burgundy are very famous. And Isabel of Castile and Fernando of Aragon de Trastámaras, that house comes from Burgundy. So those are the connectional ties between Mary of Burgundy, Charles the Bald, Henry VIII in his portrait collection that we can find in his inventory, the first one carried out in 1542 in Whitehall that you have behind you, Rebecca. You can check after the episode. In that inventory, there's pictures of some Dukes of Burgundy because they associate themselves. They're just prestigious people, Yeah. We have to think that the majority, even though the Renaissance was flourishing in Italy, the majority of Italy were republics, were different ball game there. So these guys in Mary of Burgundy and Maximilian become iconographic sources for the Henry VII, the Henry VIII, and they just become prestigious because she's a matriarch of all these Habsburg men and women that work and collaborate together to make the Habsburgs the most important family in Europe, really.
Yeah.
Mary is at the core of that because she comes from a lineage of very important dukes, very crucial territory, and then she marries who becomes the emperor. In some of his medals, Maximilian reminds me a lot of Jura because he's wearing his hair down, which is not, the typical image we have of a man in this period. We see more the Henry VIII with the bowl cut or shorter hair. But Maximilian had a thing he was a kind of a show off.
Okay.
And Maximilian had Jura work a lot for him. So this is how important this family really is. Mary, yeah.
So you mentioned that Mary of Burgundy's brother was Crybaby.
Mary of Burgundy's son.
See, I get so confused already.
But she was the mother of Crybaby.
That's right. She was the mother of Crybaby.
And that's why he's Duke of Burgundy.
Oh, right.
Right. Not because of his father.
Oh.
Okay, so that's why he's not as much as Juana. He's Archduke of Austria and that, but he's not as much as Juana. So that's why he gets so greedy when he becomes King of Castile by marriage. What Philip would become later with Mary. It's king by marriage. It's not exactly a king.
Yeah.
Even though Gonzalo Velasco Berenguer, who's a scholar in England, would argue otherwise because he wrote a book. But I don't think he was a king because Philip had to leave when Mary died and Crybaby died in Burgos because Fernando poisoned him, right?
That's right.
So imagine that's Mary of Burgundy's son. And her daughter is Margaret of Austria. Marketing mother number one, who is raised by Maximilian because Maximilian lives on and raises Margaret of Austria and Mary of Hungary. The famous Mary of Hungary, sister of Charles V, who has the same chin, who has the nude men in her palace. So Mary of Hungary, like nude men, Anna of Denmark prefer the nude ladies.
Mm.
But they all had some sort of historic porn in their palaces.
I love that you're starting to call it that too.
You started calling that the other day. Come on, don't blame it on me now.
Let's make this a thing, right?
She just puts ideas in my head, and then I'm the one to just blabber everything.
Yeah, and then I'll just give you the credit and say you started it.
Right. It was her idea.
It was.
I'm a decent person.
It was Dr. Emma. I'm so sweet. I would never say anything like that.
I would never say anything like that. Right.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, now that I'm even more confused about all the Marys and Margarets and how they were related.
We need a course just on it's a good idea to have a family tree.
Yes.
That's how I study it. This is something we study even in school in Spain because it is part of the history of Spain when the Habsburgs, when Juana marries Crybaby. Juan Crybaby, but he's very important. He's Philip the First of Spain, and our current king is Philip the Sixth of Spain. So, Philip is Philip the First of Castile. He's not king of Spain.
Okay.
You know what I mean? The reason why we have so many Philips in Spain as kings was because of him. And what is more important, and this is very important to realize, a parallel or something that they have very different, Mary and Elizabeth. Once a woman is in power, marries, the dynasty changes.
Yeah, that's true.
So the Trastámaras ended in Spain and the Habsburgs started. And that's why Spain in the modern era has that connection to Flanders and Burgundy and the Empire and England too, because Isabel had 4 daughters and 1 son. Yeah. They're all connected. It's very complex. If you struggle with this, get a family tree, and once you start, and if you make a mistake, that's fine. It is a lot of them are called Mary of Austria and Margaret of Austria.
Yes. Yeah. And as somebody who has done genealogy in the past, I feel like I need to draw a family tree. And then I have to really stop and think about it as I'm doing it to make sure that I have the right people, because that's the most important thing when you're doing genealogy.
In the exhibition, there'll be a medal of Empress Isabel of Portugal, who was, do you remember? We did an...
Oh, Lord. Was she
the one who married Charles V.
Oh.
He left Mary Tudor to marry Empress Isabel. So he left...
That's right. I'm picturing her. She has that posthumous portrait.
She was painted by Titian in a very famous portrait, sitting very similar to the Mary. Why? Why, do you think? Because Charles was going to marry both of them. And Philip ends up marrying. When the inventory of the Alcázar, which was like the Buckingham Palace of the 16th century in Spain, 17th century. Okay, it burned down, so it's not there. You can't visit it. Sorry, but when that was up in 1636, and all the pictures were up, the four spouses of Philip II, including the picture of Mary the First that is in Alejandro's collection in the Prado Museum, were hung together with a picture of Philip.
Oh, were they all similar then?
Yes.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And a later inventory even says they're all the same size, some of them. And one of the only portraits that's identified by its artist is the one of Mary, because it's already a very prestigious painting. It's identified by Antonis More. But there's also paintings of his other three wives. So this is the problem. They marry their cousins and it becomes very complex.
Yes.
So in the exhibition, for example, and even they have illegitimate children because Charles V had an illegitimate daughter that ends up being called Margaret of Parma.
Oh, right.
Right? We talked about her.
Yeah.
But really, she's a bastard daughter that Margaret of Austria, her aunt, convinces Charles V to make legitimate. So she becomes Margaret of Austria too. The wife of Philip III of Spain is Margaret of Austria too. This is very complex, guys.
Yes, it is.
This is why you need to go to the British Museum, to the exhibition where it's all explained.
That's right. And just remind everybody how long the exhibition's running too.
It's running until October, guys. You have time. You have time.
I think that's
I'm
great.
sure we'll talk a lot about it in the coming episodes too. I made an effort. I know a lot of people won't be able to go. So I wanted to make a point with these episodes to bring everybody to the exhibition, to think about how Mary the First and Elizabeth the First are not as isolated as we think when it comes to female power in Europe.
Yeah.
And England is not that isolated from Europe because it's part of it.
You know what? I also want to tell people too that while you are in London, that you're going to be making some content for us here at Tutors
Wait, what?
Oh, I didn't tell you that? No, but I want to make sure that if you're listening to this or if you're watching this, a lot of this content is going to go up on YouTube. So make sure you go to the YouTube channel and you subscribe, because then you'll be able to see the full content. I don't know that it'll necessarily be enough to make into an episode, but we'll just kind of see what happens. It'll go on YouTube regardless.
And you know what? I love that because it's going to be raw, because it's going to be, I haven't seen, I went there, I needed to stop here and thank everyone at the British Museum. It's been incredible. Tom Hockenhull, who is the keeper of medals and coins, has been wonderful. Julie Carr, Eleanor Gay from the team of interpretation, all these guys have helped me. I was very honest coming into this. I told them this was my first time, and they've just made it so easy for me. And they're such good professionals. I didn't think it was going to look this cool. And now that but I haven't seen it physically yet. It's only in my brain.
Yeah.
If I need to cry a little bit before doing the content, maybe, because I'm very, very excited for this.
I'm so excited for you, and I'm so proud of you. I know I've said it before, but I'm just so proud of you. This is so deserved. Like, you work so hard that this is.
Well, thank you. I hope this is the first one of many. So any people who need a curator out there,
send Emma an email or send it to Dr. Emma and me at gmail.com and we'll connect you.
Please. Please. No, it's very exciting. It opens a new door for me, especially when you do something that requires a great effort, but it's so rewarding and it makes you feel proud of yourself. That's when you know you're doing something that's good for you and is good for others, because you are going to give the best version of yourself in that. So I'm excited for everyone to see. The Anne Boleyn medal is in the exhibition, exhibited with one of Henry VIII could be the first time. We're debating that. But anyway, it's so cool because it hasn't been exhibited together in a long time. And also the connections between the representations sometimes, like with that reverse that we have in one of the medals where there's a phoenix, and it's in one of the medals of Elizabeth I, an impossible connection to her mom. So the side of the Tudors is going to be very exciting, very exciting.
So exciting, I just sneezed.
Yeah. And I've been thinking a lot about, now that we have a pair to the Anne Boleyn medal, and I want everyone to remember it was Dr. Emma who curated that first exhibition that were paired, because then other people will claim, this and that. It opens in very important avenues of research, because now we have an image that possibly pairs of the king, and that will tell us a lot of information. Because I have already found probably the artist who designed the one of Henry, and if they were made at the same time, what does that mean?
They're made together.
Who designed the one of Anne Boleyn?
Wow.
Maybe I'll share that this week when I'm there.
Oh, so you definitely have to subscribe to the YouTube channel.
Sorry, guys.
If you haven't subscribed yet, I'll include a link to the channel in the show notes too, to make it extra easy for you to go over there, hit subscribe. And for those of you who don't maybe understand how YouTube works, when you subscribe, you're not paying for anything. All you're doing is getting notified when new content is released.
That's great, because I'm one of those people, Rebecca. So it's great that you clarify that. A lot of the times you think that when you're clicking on this and clicking on that, there are charges. I mean, sometimes you want to pay whatever, but it's good to know that there's, options, and this is important, because disseminating these ideas that if we are going to give these women their rightful place, we cannot dissociate them from the men that gave them that place. And it was Henry the Tool who gave Anne Boleyn the power to become Queen of England, and the one to authorize really that medal of her was made. So it's very important that we have a matching image now of him.
Yeah, that's exciting. And
they were married. So, because
what they were?
No, what I mean is that when the pictures of them, they were married. What is it saying to me, for example, is that why haven't these been paired in recent exhibitions where the Anne Boleyn medal has been? We tend to put the women together in the six wives, and they were married to Henry. We need to go back to Henry is at the center of this.
Yeah,
especially in the art production. He's the one paying the bills.
Well, when we're looking at the medals and coins in your exhibition, they're paired together, husband and wife. You see many a times that they're paired together that way, so it would make sense.
Philip is paired twice with two of his wives, so Anna of Austria, the last one, and Mary Tudor. Yep. And really, this exhibition is also about showing how Mary Tudor is the link between really all these women, right? In England, what I'm saying, as the first ruling queen, also is very important, because she's taking from what she's seen in her family, but she's also taking from what she's seen in her dad. So again, I don't want to dissociate Mary or Elizabeth from their dad. That's, I think, something I've learned with this exhibition. And I had a talk with I was very adamant to bring this medal of Henry, and I had a big talk with Tom about it. And, he's been so great about everything I've and really encouraged me to think outside the box in these things. And I'm very happy that he was gracious enough to say, yes, I think the medal, and it does look good, right? Because they are matching, and and then you see their daughters. What is cool about the in the case of Mary and Elizabeth, I think, or the one of Margaret of Parma, is also the reverses of these medals need to be studied in full, because they have messages, symbology. And I encourage everyone who loves these things, I know there's a lot of our listeners who are very adamant and try to, if you want to help Dr. Emma and find all the little things in the reverse of these images, or any details that you think is important and someone might have not seen, these are important, because the backs of the medals many times had allegories or personifications. So figures that represent the virtues of these women. Some of them are yielding like a sword, or like they're representing themselves as powerful rulers, regardless of their gender. So this is something I think you'll enjoy from the exhibition too.
How exciting. Well, I want to end this episode on something that you don't even know that I did. So this is going to be a surprise for you. So I talk all the time
Okay.
I talk all the time about Patreon and how you can become a free member on Patreon and you can go to our community chat and chat with other lovers. Well, last night I posted on there and asked people if they had any questions for me or for you and what they would be. And I don't think you saw these, did you?
No.
Yeah, I know. So I want to ask
I was
you.
packing my bags,
I
guys.
know she's so ready for her trip, and I'm like, give me some questions. Our friend Kimberly, who is one that likes to look at the
I'm sure Kimberly
details.
will find lots of things about the portrait medals.
Yes, she
And
will.
we
But
appreciate her help, her input. She's very insightful.
yes, she very much is. But she wants to know, and I'm going to put you on the spot. What is a mystery from art history that you would love to solve or have solved? Putting Emma on the spot.
Okay, I have to say, it came to my mind one thing and one thing only.
What?
I would like I don't know how we could prove this, but yeah, Catherine and Arthur didn't do it. That's what I would like to like. It's not a mystery, guys. It seems like a mystery, but it wasn't. Or one related to the exhibition.
Yeah, I mean, she
Uh,
specifically said art history.
art history. Okay, who smashed the Anne Boleyn medal in the British Museum?
That's what you want solved, or have you solved it?
No, I want solved.
All right. I think that's a good one.
I think Tom, who has been the keeper of medals for a long time, has ideas. Nobody knows the medals in the British Museum like he does. So he would be someone we could ask.
Yeah. Ooh, there's the content that we're looking for while you're there. I love this.
Putting Tom on the spot.
Yes.
Poor Tom. Now that the exhibition's going to open, I'm going to put him on the spot. Tom, do you want to come to the podcast and talk about your medals?
Yeah, guess what? You're going to have to. We already said you were.
I would like to know more about. I mean, we had a conversation about it, but he knows so much, not just about that medal, all the medals. So there's a lot of Tudor medals in that
Yeah, it's
collection.
going to be
As you can imagine.
exciting. And then
But
before
that
we,
one, I would try to know who was it, who struck it, because
right.
it wasn't an Anne Boleyn fan, I'm sure.
What? It is interesting for sure.
Yeah.
I also want to tease our next Dr. Emma and me because I think it's going to be a fun episode and it's on topic with the Anne Boleyn medal
Yes,
because our
totally.
our next episode is going to be with Carol Levin, and we're going to be comparing Mary the First and Elizabeth the First. And you guys, we've already recorded this episode,
Yeah.
and I'm just going to tell you it was so much fun to
Yeah,
chat with
I want to
Carol.
remind everyone, Carol has her amazing book. If you want to get ready for it, The
Yeah.
Heart and Stomach of a King, which is allegedly a very famous quote by Elizabeth.
Yes.
Elizabeth the First and the Politics of Sex and Power. And I can't even tell you how delighted. I mean, I told you I was going to bring the best guests.
She wasn't lying, you guys. I was skeptical. I wasn't so sure she knew anybody. So I'm just kidding. I'm gonna miss you while you're gone. I know we'll still chat, but it's not gonna be the same. We won't be chatting as much.
I'm going to miss you too. But I think that I will miss you a little bit less, maybe because I'm going somewhere else. No, I miss you tons.
Yeah.
But we're still going to do Dr. Emma and me. You'll
Yes.
just see me in a different setting, in my summer setting in Santander, where I go every year, my hometown in the north of Spain. This is my Santander plug now. And there's connections even to Santander to these women. Margaret of Austria, who? Which one? The
Oh my
one
gosh.
who married John of Spain. So the one who married Prince John of Spain, the son of Isabel and Fernando, who
Right.
died of too much loving.
I was just gonna say overexertion. Is that what the term we
But
were
that
using?
Margaret of Austria,
Yes. One of the marketing mothers.
one of the marketing mothers, yes. When she arrived to Spain, she arrived through the port of Santander. Also very near Laredo. That's where Catherine was for a month when that awful storm almost killed her in 1501 when she was traveling to England, and they had to stop in Laredo, which is very near Santander too, or where Juana left in Laredo, 1496, and Isabel of Castile and little Catherine, who was a little girl, were there to say goodbye. So the north of Spain, because it's on the way to England, obviously has a lot of connections too. And really, I mean, we have a ferry every week that goes from Santander to Plymouth. That's where Catherine are going to arrive.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Things haven't changed that much. We have close ties to southern England, to Ireland. So that's how I will be there, and hopefully we'll be able to do content about that. It'd be cool.
Yeah.
Last year we went. Burgos is not very far.
We've talked about that a couple times.
Yes, to the Castillo de la Mota, where the agreement was sealed in 1489 for the marriage of Arthur and Catherine. That amazing castle that is still there. And last year we were there. We rescued a little cat even. It was amazing. So there's going to be a lot of content this summer. I know we're going to be a part of each other, but I promise you'll have great content.
I'm so excited. I'm going to miss you, but when you come back, I'm sure we'll see each other and we'll hang out and we'll catch up. And
I'm going to put Rebecca on the spot now. I want her to say on the podcast that when I come back, one of my favorite things in Minnesota.
Oh,
maybe it's my favorite thing. She knows this about me. When I say it, she'll be like, oh, yeah. Aside of going to the karaoke, is the Renaissance Fair.
Oh, yes. And how does Rebecca feel about the Renaissance Fair?
I don't know why. She doesn't really feel like she needs to go there. And I'm like, what? It's my favorite place on earth. It's Disneyland for us.
Yeah. You
can have a Bloody Mary.
I won't dress up. I refuse to dress up.
I don't think you have to dress up,
Okay.
I mean,
maybe
I'll dress up if you want. Who should I be?
A serving wench?
No, what? I'll be an artist.
Oh, there you go. I'll wear my tiara. Will that fit in?
There you go. Okay. I'll be Susanna, you be Catherine.
Oh, okay. I'll do that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I couldn't never be Catherine. I've been asked this many times. Would you dress up as Catherine Aragon? I'm like, I wouldn't dare.
Yeah. I don't want to really dress up as anybody, to be honest with you.
Just then I might be like, I'm never taking this off.
If you want to dress up, you dress up. Everybody should do what makes them happy. It's just for me, it's not my thing.
Well, the thing is, not everybody dresses up. Not nearly. Like, maybe not even half. I mean, half of the people are dressed up, but some are dressed up as goblins. I mean, it's a Renaissance fair, but it's more like a fantasy world thing, I think, in many ways and respects. It's just a fun thing. There's a whole town built for this, guys. This is the biggest Renaissance fair in the United States.
Wasn't there a fire or something there recently? Oh,
maybe it's a whole town that is built with cardboard. I don't know exactly what it is. This is how they build for festivities in the Tudor court too. It's there, but it's
not permanent.
It's permanent, but it's not like your house. You can't go. It's just a stage, right? It's a big stage.
Yeah.
But it's in a very cool area full of very cool trees. People take it people have fun with it, and you can tell. The kids love it. Who doesn't want to be knighted as a princess, as a king at night, or know? They just have fun activities too.
Okay, Emma. All right, you sold me. You know what? I grew up in Minnesota, never went to the Renaissance Fair. I lived out of state for like 25 years. I come back. I guess it's time now for me to embrace my Renaissance.
Well, I will make sure to get you first Bloody Mary when we hit the Renaissance Fair. I promise you.
Oh, that sounds like a good deal. As long as I don't have to drive, then we're good. Just give me all the Bloody Marys.
Find a way carriage or something.
An Uber carriage.
A carriage and be like, come back in 5 hours.
I need a nap.
Yeah, and then we nap on the way home.
That's right. Oh, Emma, thank you so much for doing this episode with me again. And I can't wait for your trip. I can't wait for all the content that's coming. And I want to say we're going to miss you, but you're still going to be here. So
yes. Well, Rebecca, thank you for having the best podcast.
Oh, you're so sweet.
Oh.
Okay, until next time.
Okay, guys. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to Tudors, Dynasty, and Beyond. If you enjoyed the episode, please take a moment to follow or subscribe wherever you're listening so you never miss a new release. And if you loved it, leave a quick review. It helps more history lovers find the show. Want to support the podcast and get bonus content? Head to patreon.com/tutorsdynasty. You can also find the link in the show notes of this episode. Join the conversation with Rebecca on social media at Tutors Dynasty. Until next time.